We spend so much of our lives, so much energy, worrying about what could go wrong. It's almost our default setting. But what if we just flipped that script? What if, just for a second, we asked ourselves a totally different question? What if it all works out?
Does that sound familiar? I bet it does. It's that quiet moment, you know? Maybe you're on a late-night drive, or just staring at the ceiling when you should be sleeping, and this massive question just hits you. You realize you've been running on autopilot, just going through the motions day in, day out. And then you look up and think, wait a minute, is this it? Is this really my life?
That feeling, it actually has a name. I call it the safe path trap. It's the life everyone told you were supposed to live, the one that checks all the right boxes. So why doesn't it feel right? Why doesn't it feel like your own?
And this right here is the playbook, isn't it? Go to school, get into a good college, rack up a bunch of debt, land a decent job, and then spend the absolute best years of your life just trying to dig yourself back to zero. It's tempting, for sure, because it's predictable. It promises a life without any big surprises. But let's be real, that predictable cycle can start to feel a lot more like a cage than a path to freedom. But here's the thing. If you're here, listening to this, you probably already know this playbook isn't for you. You feel that little pull, that itch for something more, something that's actually yours. For people like us, playing it safe is the one thing that feels truly dangerous.
So what's really holding you back? Come on, let's stop blaming our boss or the economy or whatever. The real enemy, the real battle, is a lot closer to home. It's happening inside your own deceptive comfort zone.
And let's get crystal clear on what the comfort zone is. It's that little voice in your head, that ancient, primal part of your brain that has one and only one mission: to keep you safe. It hates pain, it hates embarrassment, and it absolutely hates the unknown. Its only job is to keep you right where you are forever.
And this is the great deception, right here. The comfort zone promises you comfort and safety. Sounds great, doesn't it? But what it actually delivers is a world that gets smaller and smaller every single day you decide to stay inside it.
Seriously, think about it like going to the gym. If you go every day, it's just part of your routine. No big deal. But what happens when you skip a week? All of a sudden, the thought of going back feels 10 times harder. Why? It's because your comfort zone has literally shrunk. That resistance you're feeling, that's you bumping up against the new, smaller walls of your world.
Okay, so how do we fight back against this thing? It all starts with your first move. And it's not some big action. It's a fundamental switch in your perspective. It's all about changing the way you look at the things that scare you the most.
All right, this is your new playbook. Pay attention. Step 1, start seeing every single challenge not as a threat, but as an opportunity to grow. That tough project, that difficult conversation, that's the gym for your comfort zone. Step 2, switch your brain off, just for a second. Your brain is going to give you 1,000 logical-sounding reasons to stay put. So you got to use the 5-second rule. Count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move before your brain can talk you out of it. Step 3, for all those things you know are good for you but feel kind of scary, just say yes. Say yes to the speaking opportunity. Say yes to the new class. Say yes before you have a chance to overthink it. And finally, step 4, turn your fear into excitement. Physically, fear and excitement feel almost identical, right? The racing heart, the sweaty palms. The only difference is the story you're telling yourself about it. So tell yourself you're excited. Okay, let's simplify this whole thing. It's not that complicated. Over here, you've got you, right now, today. And way over there, you've got your biggest dreams, your goals. So what's actually standing in the middle? It's really only 2 things. That's it, seriously. First, there's the actual work you have to do to get there. And second, there's your own doubt. Let's break those 2 down right now. So, let's talk about that first obstacle, the work. This is the part people get obsessed with, right? The planning, the strategies, the endless YouTube tutorials on how to do something. But you want to know a secret? This isn't the real problem, not at all. Let's just be brutally honest with ourselves for a second. We get lost in the how because it feels like we're being productive, but it's really just a fancy way to procrastinate. Deep down, you already know what you need to do. You want to build a business? You have to provide a service that people can't possibly ignore. You want to be a pro athlete? You have to train like one, every single day. The path is almost always obvious. So the real issue isn't how, it's why haven't you started?
And that brings us to the second, much more powerful obstacle. This is the real challenge. This is the final boss in the video game of your life, your own doubt.
This is the voice of that final boss. It's that little whisper in your ear that says,
Hey, what if you pour your heart and soul into this and you fail? What if you're just not good enough? What are people going to think? This, right here, is the fear that keeps us completely frozen.
But hold on, let's ask the real question. Where is that fear actually coming from? Is it really about the project not working out, or is it something else entirely?
Here's the hard truth, and you might not want to hear it. It's an ego thing. You're not actually scared of failing. You're scared of what you'll look like if you fail. You're scared of the judgment, of the embarrassment, of the hit your ego's going to take.
And that's the real nature of risk, isn't it? The big risks you're thinking about, from the shore, they look like a huge, terrifying ocean. But I promise you, once you actually take a step in, you realize the water is only an inch deep. The fear of taking the risk is almost always worse than the reality of it.
I want you to let this sink in, because it could reframe everything for you. Failure isn't some final destination. It's just information. It's a data point. The only way you can physically truly fail is if you quit. As long as you keep going, you're not failing. You're just in the process of succeeding. Okay, so let's bring this all home and talk about what the biggest risk of all really is. And trust me, it's not what you think.
Here it is. This is the bottom line. The single greatest risk you can possibly take in your life is choosing to take no risks at all. Because doing nothing guarantees one thing, that 5 years from now, you will be in the exact same place, wondering what if for the rest of your life.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. When you decide to step out of that comfort zone, you're going to be scared. You are absolutely going to stumble and fail along the way. But I promise you this, a few years from now, when you look back, you will be so glad that you took the risk.
So I'm going to leave you with one final question to really think about. Knowing deep down that the biggest risk is a life filled with regret, what risk are you going to take today?